Het-Heru, Namaste, Assalamu Alaikum. Haru Nefer, this is Kasakma Keparu with another broadcast for you. And today I want to talk about a really, really good subject, and that is how to petition the gods for wealth. Now, when I say wealth, I want to define that as abundance in your life. So wealth could mean health. Wealth could definitely mean money. But I want to look at it in terms of overall having your life just be in abundance, be fruitful, and void of any like real hardships or catastrophes, even though that may be a bit difficult because we need those to spiritually grow. So before I get into that, I just want to talk about a little bit of experience I had a number of years ago when I was doing consulting for this one company in LA. So basically, my background is technology. So I really love like building websites, building software programs, anything that makes our lives easier. And that's Sebek's kind of realm, So I was working for this one company as a consultant, and I was building a very complex platform. And the manager of the company, I was presenting it to her and how it worked. She called a little attitude with me about something that was just so like insignificant. And I mean, she really got a little attitude. And, me being a master of stoicism and Beneb, I just let it go. And this was in front of a large group of people. And even they were amazed at why she was picking on it. And I think it was because she had a sense of her own lacking or understanding of technology. So her way to deal with that was just to lash out. Because she needed to feel superior in all situations and look good in front of the hierarchy. So anyway, I decided, I said, you know what, I let it go the first time, but she repeatedly did it. So I said, I'm going to have to bring this issue up to HR. So before I did that, I did what every good magi does, a magician. I did a reading, and the reading said, don't go to HR. So at that time, I was pretty close with the CEO of the company. And him and I, had a great relationship. We've gone to dinner. So I said, let me see if I can take this to the CEO. And the Oracle said, no, don't take it to the CEO. And I'm like, whoa. I said, okay, so this is a spiritual test. I'm just going to have to be very stoic and very centered about this and not make a big deal. So I actually ran into a former coworker who worked there, who used to work there, didn't work anymore. And I told him about what happened, and he says, well, the company's really good with resolving conflicts. In fact, if you go online to their website, there's a portal there that'll allow you to put up any grievances. And I was like, really? That's interesting, because I've never had something like that before. Usually you're told to go through like an HR department or HR rep. So what I did was I did go to the Oracle and said, should I go through this portal? And the Oracle was like, yeah, and this will resolve your issue. And I said, oh, wow, So that was an example basically of how I couldn't go to the head of the CEO, even though I had a relationship with him. The Oracle would say, don't go to HR because they would not help you. So I said, well, what am I to do? And then the answer revealed itself to me. Okay. Now, when we want to petition the gods for things like money, health, a new car, new house, to be emperor of the world, whatever, look pretty like me, you've got to be very careful with that. Because if we look at the traditional religions like Christianity, Catholicism, Islam, we see that you go right to God. You ask God for what you want. Now, of course, God has nothing else to do in the universe. God's not creating new universes, creating new forms of reality. God's just concerned about you and your small little details or your small little life. No, we have to understand that you don't go to the top dog right away. And there's many reasons for that. The first reason is that you're dealing with the supreme being. Okay. And if you read the Kemetic scriptures, one of the things that it says is that I was alone and I brought myself into being. All right. So when we understand from that perspective that then God brought itself into being, and the next thing that God did was lay the foundation for everything, which is Ma'at, and then came Shu and Tefnut, so from there, from the one became the many. So God created the gods. And for us to ignore that fact and say, "Oh, I'm going to go directly to God." No, there is this hierarchy. You know what I mean? So you can see God as the CEO, and then the gods as the managers. You know, and then you go further down to like Geb, which is the most dense aspect of all reality, and that's the physical plane. Then you can say, well, that's HR maybe, you know what I mean? So I'm just trying to get you an understanding through providing an analogy. So, hey, Het-Heru, Suan, Het-Heru, Aset. So with that in mind, we have to look at first utilizing resources that are readily available to us rather than going to the CEO of the company. All right. And I've listed here the hierarchy and 5 examples of avenues that you can go to get what you need. So let's go through these really quickly. The first one is your power. You are God within. So you have the same power as God, not in quantity, but in quality. So you can work miracles if you choose to recognize your power. But since we live in a corrupt Western society, what they tell you is that you don't have any power, that you have to go to an intermediary, such as like a Jesus, Muhammad, or Buddha. You don't have to go through these people. You can invoke your own power from within. And then the next thing is, which I'm a big fan of, is the ancestors. You know, you need to explore who your ancestors are and appeal to them for help if you're going through situations. The next is you can research various spirits, and these spirits are in different dimensions and different realms that will readily help you if you make contact with them, and there's various different ways to do that. The next one is a little bit more challenging, but it's just as effective, is creating a ergomor or a spirit of your own and sending that spirit on a mission. Now, creating an ergomor could take anywhere from a week to a month to do it right. And you have to, there's certain rules about that, meaning that you have to let the ergomor know that once it is done with its mission, it needs to dissipate, and that it cannot go on existing, because if it goes on to existing, it will metamorphosize into something very evil and corrupt and do damage. And the last one is, no, well, not the last one. The next to the last one is appealing to the gods, and we'll go over that. And the final one is appearing to God, who the Egyptians called Nebet-Shur, Lord of all, or Lord of the universe, or Elohim, or Yahweh, or Jehovah. Het-Heru, JD, Het-Heru, Deborah. So what I want to do is break this down into its simplest form so you don't have to go through an elaborate ritual. And as I've always said with magic, magic works. It's only something that you're not doing right, which prevents your goal from manifesting. Magic is trial and error. If I know a particular ritual, if someone, say for example, a master magician like an Aleister Crowley or someone of that nature, gives me a book of spells and say, you know, if there's a money ritual in there, if you perform it, you'll get money. And I perform it, I don't get money. That's typical that happens. And I'm going to tell you why. Because not every spell, incantation, or ritual works for everybody. Because you are vibrating at a certain frequency. And sometimes the ritual is not in alignment with your frequency. So it may work for Aleister Crowley, but it's not going to work for you. This is why science, which is based on repeating experiments and having the results be documented, is so aloof when it comes to magic, because you're dealing with something that is energetic and dynamic, meaning that it changes. It doesn't just work. There's no one size fits all, you know? So just let me take a step back. You guys like the video. I want you to like it. And also to subscribe to the channel if you are new, and hit the bell, and that'll give you notifications of when I go live. All right. So when I'm working with individuals and I'm giving them the crystals, the oils, the herbs to work with, I'm doing readings on those first to make sure that energy aligns to their energy and it's going to be effective with them. So here, this is when you get into cosmologics or the ecology of something. And what do I mean by that? Within you, you have belief systems. And sometimes those belief systems conflict with each other. All right. And then when you introduce a new belief system, you have to make sure that that new belief system aligns with the other belief system so there's harmony. If it doesn't align, there's going to be conflict, and what you want will not happen. So if I'm trying to quit smoking, if I adapt the belief system that cigarettes are full of very harmful chemicals, including rat poison, yeah, but that's not my belief system. If I have another belief system that's even more powerful that says that when I smoke, I'm very relaxed, I'm very peaceful, and I can think clearly, that belief system will override the belief system that says cigarettes has rat poison. Do you understand what I'm saying? So the ecology is messed up because there's conflict. So this is what you have to understand in terms of herbs and gems and crystals and all those things, because the ancient Chinese, they were masters at understanding the energy systems and how things mesh with each other. And this is, they've come up with their science behind this, you know, like homeopathy and what is it called? The where you place the furniture in certain positions in your room, depending upon feng shui, the energy and all that. And we have to really get into that science. The ancient Kemetic people did because they were masters of cosmologics. All right. Now, so that you start with that understanding that not everything, there's no one size fits all. Not everything works for everybody. So let's get rid of that mindset. That's Cartesian logic, the one-to-one relationship that, oh yeah, if you do X, Y, it's going to equal Z. Not in magic. All right. Maybe in science, but not in magic, because magic is a science in and of itself, but it's not exactly a science, because science is sensory input. And it's only concerned with what you can feel, hear, see, and taste, and all of that. Whereas magic deals with the metaphysical and understanding things beyond our perception of awareness. Okay, you feel me, people? You feel me there? All right. So moving on, we have to get into the understanding that when we need something, especially in times of crisis, like money, or we're looking for a mate, or we're looking for a house, looking for a new car, our car broke down, we can't get to work, we have to appeal to the power that is within us. And appealing to God directly is your way of abdicating your power. You know, you are giving your power away. And in the great oracle, the I-Ching, it talks about how you give your magic tortoise away, meaning your magic power away, because you're depending on things that really cannot support you. And in every system of magic, whether it be Yoruba, Voodoo, the ancient Kemetic religion, all the deities in those religions have certain personality types. And to petition them, you have to do certain things that are in accordance with their types, their personality types. For example, the Greek gods love it when you show supreme dedication and love for them. They love getting their ego stroked, right? Egyptian deities do not like too much communication. They do not like you begging them. And they're more concerned about you emulating morality, uprightness. All right. So constantly begging, for example, Ma'at or Isis or a Set for something will only serve for them not to assist you. So that is, you have to be very careful with that. And this is why you need to read and study. Sometimes, and when you go to a master magi, if you're going to appeal to a spirit, if they're really good at what they do, they'll pull out a book and research the type of spirit that works pretty quickly and effectively for what you want. There's some spirits that take a long time. There's the other spirits that will just ignore you. Now, the best thing that I have worked with and found to be really effective, and individuals that I have come in contact with have validated this, is the ancestors. It seems that when you appeal to them, they grant you what you want pretty quickly. But I'll do another video on that later. Let's talk about the gods, okay? Now, let me just go back over this to sum it up. There are 6 major ways that you can petition to get things, to get abundance in your life, to get material things, or even to get spiritual things. There is your power. There is appealing to the ancestors. There's appealing to a particular spirit or invoking that spirit. There's a creating of an ergomore. There are the gods, and then there is the supreme God source nectar. Okay. Now, for us to appeal to the gods, we have to first know what God or they're really nothing more but intelligent energy systems, governs the thing that we want. And I don't want to use, even though they are intelligent energies, I don't want to use that term because I rather show them respect by saying they're gods, they're deities, right? So let's say, for example, we're trying to get money and I need, let's say, you know, I want to buy this house. We have to move out. Our old house is run down. It's a fire hazard. And I've eyed this new house, but I need to put a 10% down or something like that. So I got to put $20,000 down. I need $20,000. Okay. And the first and foremost thing you need to understand, make sure that you set an amount or make sure, like you say, don't just say I need money. Say I need 20,000. Give a figure, but don't say I need $29,863. That's crazy. Just round it off. Okay. So say you need 20,000. Okay. Let's put that figure down. With that, I want you must have a honest, sincere, and valid reason for wanting that money. Every morning when I get up, there's two things that I want. I want a glass of orange juice and I want unsalted peanuts. There's a little bodega, a store not too far from where I live that I go there and the manager knows me. He often gets robbed, which is funny because I'll walk in there right after the robbery and I try to help him. If I see him getting robbed, I'll like stop the perpetrator. But, you know, it only happened once with a school kid. So I'll go in there and it literally ends up me being in there for 10 minutes. And I always have exact change. And the reason that I'm in there for so long is because all of these people come in and they buy these little win and scratch games. And these people are not spending like the average one costs about $1. These people are not spending $1. They're buying the ones that cost $10, $20. And on average, I've seen them spend about $50. You know, the max probably around 200. And I'm amazed at how many people buy these things. And it's, for one thing, these games are immoral. Okay, let's get that straight. If you're buying these things, don't do that. If you have $50 or $100 to buy these games, that's dinner for your children. That money can go to rent, new clothes. Don't spend your money on something that is a con game. And Sebek would love this because Sebek loves trickery because the games are designed. For one thing, when you buy one game and scratch it, it's designed to have you win a little bit. Like you win a free ticket, another free ticket. It's designed to encourage you to play more, to spend more money so you can lose your money. So these guys, they buy, like, for example, $10 worth, and they end up getting 3 free tickets. And they think, oh, I'm close to winning the jackpot of $50,000. No, you're not. You're just being tricked and encouraged to play more. And it's the same thing in Las Vegas. Many of you know that I'm always in Las Vegas. That's my second home. And the slot machines are programmed, their algorithms are programmed to know when to keep you playing. So, for example, you start playing and right away, you'll win a little bit. And then you play some more, you'll lose. And then you play some more, then you win a little bit more. And it keeps you there. And it keeps you spending your own money to the point that you lose all of your money. And how many of us have known, and we've been there, where you go to a table and you're playing blackjack or whatever, and you win a lot of money, and what you should have done is walked away from the table, but you didn't. You kept playing, and then you lost all that money. That makes the casinos happy. So just don't even engage in those type of things. As I said, they're immoral, they're wrong, and you should not be doing that. Use that money for something that's very important, such as putting in your savings, because that is not the way that you want to accumulate real wealth. And it's the same thing with lottery. When you have these individuals who are winning like $100 million, that's too much wealth for one individual to win. And usually, statistically, when you look at the statistics, the individuals that hit that lottery end up blowing all the money 2 or 3 years later, and they're back to being broke because they've never had that large amount of money. They don't know how to save it. They don't know how to invest it. And they just blow it on stupid things like multiple cars, multiple homes, multiple vacations. And it's ridiculous. And I'll be honest, I'm like, if I had $1 billion, it would be overwhelming to me. I wouldn't know what to do. I probably would be spending too much of it, you know, because you're a neophyte. You don't know. You've never dealt with that large amount of money. So the first thing you're going to do is go on a spending spree. And you think in your mind that because it's a large amount of money, that it'll never deplete, and it quickly does. So anyway, back to what I was saying before. Have the exact figure that you want, and you should write it down on a piece of paper. And now you have to identify the deity that governs, or the God that governs what you want. So we're going to use two examples. I want $20,000. So the deities that will govern that, I know right away, are Hathor or Het-Heru and Ma'at. Het-Heru deals with fortune, not large wealth, but fortune. Ma'at deals with large fortune, like winning the $200 million lottery, because Ma'at's planet is Jupiter. Jupiter is the biggest planet in our galaxy, okay? Now, Het-Heru, her planet is Venus. So she deals with love, joy, and fortune. If I want $20,000, I could either appeal or petition Het-Heru, Hathor, or Ma'at, okay? Then the way I would do this is, just as I said before, writing it down on a piece of paper, the exact amount, creating a shrine for Het-Heru or Ma'at, and you put their colors. The deities like certain colors. You put their colors there, and then you would place 2 candles and on there that are the same color that the deity likes, and you place the shrine in the direction of the deity's direction, whether it be north, east, west, whatever it is, okay? So, and I'm going to explain a little bit more about this, why I'm not giving too much specifics around this. So when you sit your shrine in that direction, then you want to place food on there that the deity likes, all right? And once that is there, then you research and find out the Hekau, or the mantra. And Het-Heru has her mantra, and Ma'at has her mantra. Then you want to research and find out what are their days. Het-Heru's day is Friday, Ma'at's day is Thursday. And on that day, during their particular hour, because they also have a particular hour, because that hour corresponds to their planetary alignment, you sit there, you recite the mantra, and you go into a deep state of meditation, seeing yourself acquiring the $20,000. But you don't want to be too specific with how you're receiving it, because that money could come to you in various different ways. You got me so far? Now, there are many things that people don't do right in this entire thing. And the one thing that I found is that the thing that you don't do right is usually not going into a deep state of meditation. Now, there's certain things I will prescribe to you, maybe certain herbs or certain exercises that will bring you into a deeper state of meditation. You have to get into that state, because if you're not in that state, you're not contacting the subconscious mind, and you're not making contact with the correct energy that will bring to you what you need. So what's going to happen is what the I-Ching says: all the form is observed, but the substance is missing. So meaning that, yes, you have the candles, you have the food the deities like, but the substance, meaning you're not going deep into the well. The I-Ching says the well, which is your subconscious mind. You're not going deep enough into the subconscious mind. So does that make sense? All right. Now, once you do that, I would do this. When you're dealing with Egyptian deities, once you do this ritual, you have to observe the truisms of the deity. So Ma'at is living truth, living your justice and righteousness. So you're going to have to, from that point on, make sure that you're living a truth, justice, morally upright life. Now, if it's Het-Heru, you're going to have to make sure that you're expressing inner joy in the face of obstacles and obstructions. And when you do that, you please the deities, and they're likely to grant you the money you're looking for. Now, the money could take 30 days to get to you, 60 days to get to you, or 6 months. But the main thing is not to lose faith. And another important aspect to this is that do not be hungry for it. Do not be like, well, if I don't have this money, my world is going to fall apart. And therefore, you will not get it by having that false belief system. You have to be in the mindset of expectancy, but that if it doesn't come, you'll still be at peace. Remember, watch my previous videos on Stoicism, because that links to how you can invoke your spiritual power. So make sure that you are able to stay centered within that. Again, I have to stress, this is very important, that if it comes to you, great. If it doesn't, you'll be all right either way, because that will invoke the Kundalini, the chi energy, the raw force, to manifest what you need. That in combination with going deep enough into the trance state will work wonders, will draw this money to you. Now, the final thing is you must have an avenue of opportunity for the money to come your way. So when you do this ritual, you got to start looking for maybe a side hustle that could bring you $20,000. For looking for a job that has a bonus of $20,000. You have to be enrolled in some type of, I don't know, crazy sweepstakes that will bring you $20,000. Not a lottery, okay? So if you don't have an avenue by which that $20,000 can manifest, you're making it more difficult, and it may take a year or two for that money to come your way. And it will manifest quicker if you are involved in an opportunity that has a potential to bring you a large sum of money. All right. And don't just do it for the money, because then the deities will realize what you're doing and you'll blow it. Because the deities want you, you know, in our ancient times, I shouldn't say ancient, let me just say in antiquity, because I don't like to use words like ancient, primitive, because Western society has really done a good job of vilifying those nomenclatures. So anyway, back when our ancestors, the ancient Greeks, were learning about the deities from the Egyptians, you know, they would appeal to Apollo and Zeus, you know, for certain things. And they knew right away that they had to please Apollo, you know, and Apollo had a temperament. And so the Greeks were very good at understanding the temperament of Apollo or Zeus. So you have to understand the temperament of the Egyptian deities, Egyptian gods. And you have to make sure that you are in alignment with their temperament. Because if you're doing things that are not in alignment with them, then they're not going to grant you what you want. See, our ancient Greeks, the way they did it was, like, for example, there was the temple of Apollo. And if you were a priest of Apollo, you had daily responsibilities. And if you fulfilled those responsibilities, like cleaning out the temple, making sure the temple of Apollo had food for Apollo, if you did these things properly, then you will be given favor by Apollo. You understand what I'm saying? So this was pleasing to the gods. And the same thing with our Egyptian gods. If your shrine, if you're not letting the food there rot and you're replacing it every day with fresh food for the deity, this pleases them. If you're acting in accordance with truth every day, this pleases Ma'at. Now, the other thing that I want to say about this is not every deity you're going to have a relationship with. Just like, for example, according to the astrologics and the great oracle of Tahuti, Ma'at is my mother, right? But I don't have a great relationship with Ma'at. I have a better relationship with Het-Heru, my aunt, Hathor. Me and her have a good relationship. We're tight. She be hooking me up with joy and sexy girls and all that. I'm just kidding. But, you know, she be hooking me up. But my relationship is not that great with Ma'at, because Ma'at is a cold energy, meaning that Ma'at loves me deeply, but she cannot show it in an affectionate way, because that's her energy. Whereas Het-Heru, she loves me. She will bathe me in affection, you know, because she loves affection. And I'll get her some flowers. She loves roses. So that I have a good relationship with her. She hooks me up in my filmmaking career. Okay. Ma'at will say, Kisak, live truth. That's not what you should be doing. You know, like, oh, Jesus. Ma'at is a very, very high calling. She don't play around. She lives truth, you know? She's the goddess of truth. So what I'm saying to you, if you're going to appeal to Ma'at, get ready to look at everything that you're doing and make sure you're in alignment with her truism. So I just want to check out the questions. Okay, we're good. So, okay, there you go with that. Now, we could take this a step further. Now, when you have your shrine, you can adorn it with things that will help the energy come your way, such as, like, for example, this is money oil. You know, you put this on before you do the meditation, and it's very nice smelling too. Ooh, I'm high now. Whoa, that's good. Okay, I'm gonna save that for later. And then you have your powder, and this is the money draw powder. And you place this here on your hands. Uh-oh, I'm gonna get money now. In your face before you do the meditation, and that invokes the energy. And this is money incense. You burn this, and it fills the ether, the air, with the energy of money. Okay, and these are and you bring yourself some crystals in there, wine. You have the party. Okay, I'm kidding. I'm being so yeah. No parties, no parties. So that's what you need to get this party started. This is when you really start to get into the details and the technology of petitioning the gods. And if you do this right, you're going to find that your life is going to be enhanced, and that don't be afraid that anytime you need something to perform this ritual. In fact, this is one herb I was messing with, and I accidentally invoked the spirit, and I had a lot of problems when that spirit came in. So I had this sealed. I haven't used this again. I had to get rid of that spirit. That was a big issue in my life when that happened. And yes, you have to be careful that you don't invoke the wrong energy. And I'm gonna tell you something. I do readings for people, and every now and then I'll come up with a dark deceased reading, and I'll tell them, listen, you have a propensity for dark energy, and you have to be careful when you're doing a ritual, because you will attract dark forces, and that's because that darkness is within you. Always, when you're working with oracles, or you're working with a ritual, bring to the table a positive energy. And unfortunately, there are a lot of people, in this world, who have what they call in Wicca, or in circles, the witches, the science that they practice is called the shadow self. We call it conditionings, or the dark side of you, where people have trapped in them very, very negative energy. And I would say you've got to start first with getting that negative energy out to you. Oh, you're too angry. You have you're argumentative. You're not friendly. You're not social. Those things, you have to purge yourself of that stuff. If you're ever going to perform a ritual and have it be effective. No ritual is going to be effective when you have a bad attitude. And everyone, don't look at yourself and say, not me. No, yes, you. I'm talking to you. You know, you're doing things that aren't right. So first deal with that, and then go to the deities and petition them for money. Okay? Get rid of that stuff within you, because it's only going to attract dark entities, and it's going to mess up your life even further, because when you do a ritual, you're opening a portal or a gateway. And if you're full of dark forces, that portal, when it opens, the dark forces are going to feel it and say, oh, I like this. And they're going to come your way. And then you're going to have a lot of issues. All right. This is why, you have certain people walking around going, well, my aunt did a ritual, and, this evil spirit came through, so I don't mess with that stuff. That's because your aunt is evil. I'm serious. Your aunt is evil. That's why the evil spirit came, because your aunt is messed up. It's the same thing. I hear people in relationships, like, for example, you'll have this woman in a relationship, and she says that, man is no good. He don't left me with these kids. And then everybody's like, oh, I'm so sorry for you. You're a single mother. What do you mean that man ain't no good? You no good. You picked the man. When did you realize he was no good? After the third kid? You couldn't figure it out after the first kid, or even before you hooked up with him? You picked him because there was some energy within you that was attracted to him. So birds of a feather flock together. Don't give me that, oh, he's an evil man, he's wrong. No, you wrong. Look at yourself first. And he wouldn't have been attracted to you if you were upright and moral. You would have repelled him by the ma'at. So don't give me that crap and have a pity party because some man walked out on you with the kids. You shouldn't have opened your legs for that man in the first damn place. All right. So I meet like messed up people all the time. I don't hang with them. I don't go out and have drinks with them. I barely talk to them because they're messed up people. I have no business being around them. You know, so, you know, check yourself before you wreck yourself. You know what I mean? Because we live in a Western society that only looks at half the picture, half the truth. And we think that's the whole truth. It's not. We live in a world that has an interdependent interrelationship between all things. But yet we only don't want to look at one side of the coin. We think that we can do a ritual and not live morally correct and have everything still manifest. No, it don't work like that. You can manifest a dark spirit and you can go and get your money. Yeah, that can happen. You can do that, certainly. I've manifested a dark spirit, and you can send a dark spirit on a mission. But do you really think that after that dark spirit brings you the money or the man or the woman that you want, that everything's going to be okay? No, there's a price to pay. That dark spirit is going to be hanging around and saying, you know, while I'm chilling here, I'm going to cause some havoc. Why don't I just start messing with your kids? Why don't I possess your daughter? I'm not kidding. That's what they do. And then you go, I'm the master magician, spirit, dissipate, leave. And the spirit's gonna laugh at you and says, wait, I just hooked you up with $10,000. I ain't going nowhere. I ain't going nowhere. That's why you got to be careful when working with Ouija boards. You don't know what energy. You calling up energy, you don't know what's coming up on that Ouija board. You know, one time I was doing that and Bugs Bunny started speaking to me and I was like, what? Yeah, whatever. So, so this is all part of the journey. And as I said before, now it doesn't work the same thing. Like this oil may not work for you. This herb may not work for you. It may not draw money to you. So when I do these things, and if you're going to a proper magician or magi, I go to the oracle and I do oracle reading and I say, will this power, even though it says money, attracting money, money draw, will this powder bring money to Emily? And the oracle says, no, not that powder. And you know why? Because Emily has a belief system, a jacked up belief system that may need a Herukahuti powder because she has a Herukahuti issue. She's too aggressive, too assertive. And that's messy because the Herukahuti is business and, you know, money through business. So I may need to go out there and get a Herukahuti powder and say, okay, don't use that money powder. Your issues are Herukahuti, and throw that powder on the shrine. And when you do that, then that balances things out and then the money will come. So even though this herb says money draw, to draw money, this herb may not be right for you. Your issue may be a Tahuti issue, a thought issue. So, you know, I may need to get a Tahuti herb to straighten your mind out, which means you're going to have to still your mind, stop thinking so damn much and start having false beliefs. Because when your thoughts go wild, you start thinking of worst case scenarios. You start having doubts. Oh, this can't work. This can't work. This can't work. So the money thing won't work because you're putting up the false belief system to block all of the energy that could be benefiting you. So then I have to give you the Tahuti herb that will calm your thinking and open that psychic center to allow the energy to come in. So be careful, people. You can't order herbs online that say money or love and think that all of that stuff's going to work for you, because you inside, like I said earlier, there's many beliefs in you, the ecology of your beliefs, that some are conflicting against each other. You need them to work harmoniously to be receptive to the right energy that can bring you the wealth. So there you go. And with that said, I am going to bring this to a close. If you have any questions, feel free to put that in the description box. If you're in the chat room right now, you have any questions, speak now or forever hold your peace. The cyber attack that was going on, we've got that resolved. So all of the websites will be back up on Monday. And that's really, really good news. So you need to get yourself the Osiris report. And it's a really, really good report. Check out the coaching programs that I have going on. I have some really good ones coming up in the month of May, and we're going to get really deep into the science of manifesting money, because I want to really get into that, because as I said before, there are two things that every individual should know in life. That is magic and how to manifest money. That's important. You know, when I was working as a film director, let me tell you this, instinctively, I knew how to manifest money because I had to raise like $100,000, $150,000 to make my movies. And it was just a natural thing. I knew like the right music, the right ritual to do. This is before I got into priesthood. It just came to me. I knew it. And I was able to meet people, luckily in my life, who were wealthy, who had money, and that were willing to take a chance and invest it with me. And I made a number of good movies that way, and profitable movies. So let me ask you, hold on a second. Knowledge, you said, I keep hearing about this ancestor money. Can you talk a little bit about that? I don't know what you're referring to about ancestors money, but what I'm saying to you is that we all come from a certain lineage, and you have ancestors in the inner planes that are willing to help you if you just build a connection and make a relationship with them. They're there. They want to talk to you. And whether it be the ancestors or the gods, one of the easiest ways to build a relationship is just to talk to them. One of the reasons why I didn't like one of the early priesthood societies that I was involved with is because they treated the deities just like energies. Oh, they're energy systems. And I'm like, no, they're not energy systems. They're gods and goddesses. Let's start referring to them as such. Because when you start talking about when you reduce it down to this science thing about, oh, they're just like particles and waves and energies, then that disrespects them. So you can't put a tray of food on the shrine for them and then call them energy systems. You know what I mean? That doesn't work. You have to treat them as though they're intelligent, which they are. Oh, the Chinese system. Yeah, there's a whole, that's true. The Chinese ancestor money is, oh, gotcha. Okay, but I can't get into that right now. But, you know, we can talk offline about that. And the Chinese, let me explain this. The Chinese have a very sophisticated system for communication with the ancestors. And if you go into a traditional Chinese family home, you will see that they have a shrine. And on that shrine, they have all kinds of fetishes. This is what it's called, fetishes from their lineage, their line of ancestors. And this is what we all should have. I don't know why we don't have that, because the ancestors are some of the most powerful things or energies or people you can get involved with that are ready to help you because they're family. And that's like going to your mom and saying, Mom, I'm in a bit of trouble. Can you help me? Your mom's going to say yes, right? So when you go to the ancestors and say, you know, look, my family, me and my wife are trying to move into a new home. Can you help us get the down payment for the home? So the ancestors will be like, yeah, we'll do what we can, you know, and it's not a complicated ritual. Like I said, you just talk to them, talk to the gods, talk to the ancestors, you know, and if they talk back, you got an issue. Now, if they talk back, you need to call me and let me know. All right. But many times they'll talk to you through omens and dreams. They'll communicate back to you and they'll let you know, like, hey, listen, I heard you and I'm on a case. When I speak to an ancestor or I speak to the gods, I do an oracle reading and ask them, did they hear my petition? Are they going to help me? And that's the sure way. If the oracle says yes, that's the way of knowing if you've done something right. If the oracle says no, then I go, well, what do I need to do to get their attention or to get their assistance? And you take it further. Suan says, one of my ancestors revealed herself to me in a dream, but I have never seen her again. How do you draw back that connection? Maybe I was too spooked and did know who she was. That's exactly right, Suan, because if your ancestor spirit or a deity comes to you and you get spooked, you could turn them away and they may not come back. And that is so true. The only thing that I would do is go back, Suan, and try to like understand what were you doing that day? What emotion were you exhibiting? And try to invoke that emotion again, because this in the spiritual world, they're attracted to emotions via the energy that you're giving off. And if you can replicate that, if you can duplicate that, then you will attract that spirit or that ancestor. And another way to do it is just to say, hey, you know, talk to them and say, hey, please come back. Forgive me for being spooked. Please come back. Or you can do an elaborate ancestor ritual and try and bring an ancestor back. But, you know, you can't control what they do. They may come to you and then leave. And you know, it could be only for a certain purpose that they know of. And a lot of times we know that certain spirits in the inner planes need guidance and light, and use you to show them the light. And once you show them the light through your upright and moral practices, they'll then transcend, and you won't see them again, and you've helped them. You know what I mean? Yeah, they do that, JD. They actually will stroke your forehead. I've had them stroke my leg. Yeah, they definitely will do that. And it's a way of affection. They're just showing you affection and letting you know they're there. Yeah, I've had them like pat my forehead. I had them stroke my leg. It's a nice sensation. It's a great feeling. It's very comforting. It can be startling at first because you're wondering what the heck is going on. But once you understand it, then you know, and you embrace it, they will do it more and come more into your life, and you can speak to them and start building a proper relationship, you know. But see, don't worry, everybody, that happens to everybody. That even happened to me. Like when the first time that I invoked the spirit, it scared me, and I scared the spirit away. And then I was like, come back, and the spirit never came back, you know. So you just got to be, you have to be ready for it. Understand this is a process, one step at a time. So it's not uncommon for somebody to be afraid of a spirit and then the spirit leaves them. But there are many spirits and many ancestors out there that will come back and will help you if you petition them in the right way. So with that said, my beloved family, thank you for joining me. And if you like this video, hit the like button, share it with friends and family, consider contributing to the Patreon campaign. And until my next broadcast, this is Kasak Ma Keperu, son of Ma'at, Amen Ra.